Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Sport This Week video. And in today's video I've got basketball, baseball, tennis, football, NFL, boxing, Formula 1 and UFC and news. If you are new around here though and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So starting off this week, I'm going to start off with the tennis news, and it was the Rosmarlen Championships, which started with Sabalenka winning 2-0 versus Belt-Stw. And then there was also the Stuttgart Open, where Sabalenka won 2-0 versus Hurtado. Tsitsipas lost 2-1 versus Hurkacz and Pavic. Tsitsipas won 2-0 versus Striker. Medvedev won 2-0 versus Simon. Medvedev and Greek Sport lost 2-0 versus Haas and Middle Coop. Sabalenka won 2-1 versus Van Ivantic. I've definitely said that wrong, my bad. Tsitsipas lost 2-0 versus Murray. Medvedev won 2-0 versus Ivashka. Sabalenka won 2-0 versus Rogers. Medvedev won 2-0 versus Manarino. Hurkacz and Pavic won 2-0 versus Poets and Venus to win the women's doubles Stuttgart Open. Sabalenka lost 2-0 versus Alexandrova to win the women's singles Rosmarlen Championships, and Medvedev lost 2-0 versus Van Rijthoven to win the men's singles Rosmarlen Championships, and Koolhof and Skupski won 2-1 versus Iban and Purcell to win the men's doubles Rosmarlen Championships. And yeah, that is all the tennis news. Moving on to the basketball news, where's the continuation of the final. And I believe that might possibly finish this week, maybe next week. We'll have to see. It's currently tied at 2-2, and that kind of spoils this bit. But yeah, Warriors won 107-88 versus Celtics, and Warriors won 107-97 versus Celtics. So they've made a bit of a comeback now, and they will be interesting to see if they can win the next game. Moving on to the baseball news now. Red Sox won 1-0 versus Angels. Yankees won 10-4 versus Twins. Dodgers lost 4-0 versus White Sox. Red Sox won 6-5 versus Angels. Giants lost 5-3 versus Rockies. Yankees lost 5-1 versus Twins. Dodgers won 4-1 versus White Sox. Red Sox won 1-0 versus Angels. Giants won 2-1 versus Rockies. Dodgers won 11-9 versus White Sox. Giants lost 4-2 versus Rockies. Yankees won 10-7 versus Twins. Red Sox lost 5-2 versus Angels. Yankees won 2-1 versus Cubs. Red Sox won 4-3 versus Mariners. Giants won 7-2 versus Dodgers. Giants won 3-2 versus Dodgers. Yankees won 8-0 versus Cubs. Red Sox lost 7-6 versus Mariners. Yankees won 18-4 versus Cubs. Giants won 2-0 versus Dodgers, and Red Sox won 2-0 versus Mariners. That is all the baseball news. Moving on to the football news now, where it was the start of the transfer window. Milner has signed a new Liverpool contract until 2023. Croatia drew 1-1 versus France. England drew 1-1 versus Germany. Forster has joined Spurs. Hayden has joined Norwich. Modric has signed a new Real Madrid contract until 2023. Lacazette has joined Lyon. Foden won PFA Men's Young Player of the Year. Salah won PFA Men's Players Player of the Year. Hemp won PFA Women's Young Player of the Year. Kerr won PFA Women's Players Player of the Year. Portugal won 2-0 versus Czech Republic. Spain won 1-0 versus Switzerland. Austria drew 1-1 versus France. Croatia won 1-0 versus Denmark. Tush Ameni has joined Real Madrid. Hungary drew 1-1 versus Germany. England drew 0-0 versus Italy. Wales drew 1-1 versus Birmingham versus Belgium. Netherlands drew 2-2 versus Poland. Pirlo is the new Karagumruk manager. Spain won 2-0 versus Czech Republic, and Switzerland won 1-0 versus Portugal. And yeah, that is all of the football news. Moving on to the NFL news now. Rams have reconstructed Donald's contract. Rams extending Cup, and Raiders extending Renfro. That is all the NFL news. Still not the start yet. I think it's this month, maybe next month when the season starts. So not too far away, I believe. Moving on to the UFC though now. Simon will fight Shaw on the 16th of July. Chu Kagyan will fight Fiorot on the 3rd of September. Zhang won via KO in round 2 versus Jedrzejczyk. Shevchenko won via decision versus Santos to remain women's flyweight champion. Prohaska won via submission in round 5 versus Teixeira to become a light heavyweight champion. Usman will rematch Edwards on the 20th of August, and Jedrzejczyk announced her retirement after the fight. So, yeah, I mean, to round that up, basically, I mean, another good fight between Zhang and Jedrzejczyk. It's a shame that she's retiring, but I suppose it kind of, to an extent, makes sense. Shevchenko, yet again, getting the win. It was a very close match, though, so they probably will rematch, if maybe not next fight, but maybe the fight after. I think maybe whoever wins Nunes versus Pena will come down and fight Shevchenko, but we'll have to see. And Prohaska getting a win probably means he'll. He might rematch Teixeira because it was a very good match, and it was very close at times. But he might just move on and go to Blachowicz or the winner of Ankalaev versus Smith. And I mean, Teixeira says he wants to keep going even at his age of 42, so he might fight Rakic, or he might fight the loser of Ankalaev versus Smith. Maybe he might fight Blachowicz again. We will have to see. But yeah, moving on to the boxing news, where there's a lot of news. So yeah, get ready for a lot. Chisora will rematch Pulev on the 9th of July. Inyo won via TKO in round 2 versus Donaire to become WBC, WBA Super and IBF World Bantamweight Champion. Madrimov will fight Soro on the 9th of July. Rivas won via TKO in round 4 versus Fernandez to remain WBA World Female Super Bantamweight Champion. Hernandez won via TKO in round 1 versus Castaneda to become WBC International Silver Super Featherweight Champion. Kayaguchi won via TKO in round 8 versus Bermudez to remain WBA Super World Light Flyweight Champion. Tennyson has announced retirement. Jalolov won via KO in round 8 versus Mulwai. Riley won via TKO in round 1 versus Volau. Congo won via unanimous decision versus Formella to become WBC International Silver Welterweight Champion. Shelley won via unanimous decision versus Brown to become BBBOFC English Super Middleweight Champion. Price won via unanimous decision versus Goodsten Dottier. Riakporhe won via stoppage in round 2 versus Tershi to basically become the possibly next cruiserweight IBF contender, so probably will fight the winner next. We'll have to wait and see. Gaidri won via KO in round 7 versus Scott. I did predict him to win. I can't remember what round it was, but I did predict him to win, so I got that right. Munguia won via KO in round 5 versus Kelly. I forgot to mention that I did get all of them right in UFC, bar the Zhang fight, prediction-wise. Anyway, carrying on. Vale won via unanimous decision versus Villalobos to remain International Boxing Federation World Female Minimum Champion. Thompson won via TKO in round 5 versus Tomlin. Davis won via unanimous decision versus Leach to become BBB OFC British Super Bantamweight Champion. And Dubois won via KO in round 4 versus Bryan to become WBA World Heavyweight Champion. So congratulations to Bryan. It was a very strange fight. Not to Bryan, to Dubois. Very strange fight. Bryan didn't look very good at all, and it was a very weird ring as well, very small ring. But in the end, he did get the win, even on American soil. Hopefully, he'll fight in England next. He said that he might fight Dillian Whyte, so that'd be an interesting fight to see if it does end up happening. But there's a lot of other options in the heavyweight division he could go down. Technically, I believe he's the next kind of contender for the Anthony Joshua versus Usyk winner, so we'll have to wait and see if that does actually end up happening. I don't know, but maybe. And yeah, I mean, Dubois getting the win again. I did predict that. I predicted round 5, but round 4 it doesn't really matter. But I did get the majority of my predictions right this weekend. And yeah, we'll move on to the final sport now, which is the F1 news. So it's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Leclerc was on pole, Perez started second, and Verstappen started third. In the end, Verstappen won, Perez finished second, and Russell finished third. And unfortunately, Stroll, Leclerc, Zhu, and Sainz did not finish yet again. Leclerc not finishing when he was starting. I mean, he started on pole and he did not end up finishing with something with the car again, just going up in smoke, and it was a real shame for him. But it means Red Bull have really extended their advantage, and I believe Perez has now gone above Leclerc on the drivers' table, so that's interesting. And then Sainz also did not finish, so it means the constructors' championship is getting a large lead for Red Bull. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like video if you didn't, like video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.